What is up? What's going on, everybody? Happy Zombie Fest. This is going to be the finale of Zombie Fest. Stoked to be here tonight talking about a wild one. This one is 2021's The Sadness. All right, what up, everybody? All right, we're talking about The Sadness tonight. This one is buck wild, and we got an awesome crew. Stu's going to be joining us in just a little bit, but my man, who once again just moved #blame Phable and his amazing friends over to Friday nights, 9 Eastern time. What up, Phable? What's going on, bro?
Station, brother, man. The finale of Zombie Fest, man. Hell yeah, man. Can't wait to get into this one. This is probably one of the wildest movies I've seen in a long ass time. So hell yeah.
I'm with you, man. Fucking before Stu gets here, let's talk a little shit about him. He hit me up halfway through and he's like, bro. He's like, you should have warned me. It's like, motherfucker, have you been listening at the end of every Zombie Fest episode? I've been giving trigger warnings about this movie for a month, but he'll be here in a little bit. I hit Lynk up. I'm like, hey, before you watch it, this one's wild. And Link's like, I watched it a couple weeks ago, bro. It's whatever. It's not that bad. So Steph, fucking Man of Steel over there. You're on.
Should have known that Link already saw it, man.
Welcome back, brother. Good to see you.
Yeah. Oh, pleasure to be here. Yeah, it's something. It wasn't that bad, but it was pretty extreme. It was pretty extreme.
Yeah.
This is one of the few. This one's on Shudder. I think it's a Shudder original, and I don't know that I've ever seen a movie that comes up with a warning. This is an extreme film, which is this is something I'm kind of just getting hip to. This is like the genre of extreme horror. There's a lot of it that you see, like French movies will do it, but I would think Terrifier 2 would have been extreme, but I don't know. I think this is probably a step above that. And in my opinion, before I'd seen this, I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of many movies that are gnarlier as far as the gore and the amount of blood and the depravity. You know what I mean? There's going to be, I'm just going to throw it out there right now. I don't give many trigger warnings, but if you have any kind of issues with stuff involving sexual assault, it's a big part of this movie. These aren't your father's zombies. So they're doing some nasty stuff. We're not going to be overly graphic about our descriptions of it, or maybe we will, who knows? But whatever. If you have any issue with that, be warned, we will be getting into some really gnarly shit in this flick. But just to set it up real briefly, the dude who made this is his first time as a writer, director, and editor, Rob Jabbaz. And this is a Taiwanese film, so it's in a foreign language. There's no dub to it that I'm aware of. But the dude is from Canada. And for some reason, it just like blows my mind that you've got this floppy-headed Canadian guy. You know what I mean? Like he's like, where can I make this movie? I'm going to go to Taiwan and make it. So I don't know. It's just it's an extreme movie in every sense of the word, but I do think there's a lot of good craftsmanship in the film. I'm looking forward to see what this guy does in the future. But I will say, even for my taste, it gets it gets a little much at times. Like it kind of gets a lot of times. But I know this one guy, he just ate it up. And his name is Stu. Stu's in the building. What up, brother? What up? Welcome to the show.
Station, guys. So happy to join y'all for this unfortunate end cap to Zombie Fest, but glad to be here with my brothers nonetheless.
Hell yeah, man. Well, yeah, I'm really glad you could make it. You guys in the chat, appreciate you as well. You guys in the rewind, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Brown Bag Special. Who is this guy? What up? Love the graphic novel. Oh, and that's another thing. Okay, I'm glad he pointed that out because I had actually forgot that.
Okay.
This is based on, I guess, loosely based on the Garth Ennis graphic novel Crossed, which doesn't actually.
Oh, this was the one.
No,
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So I don't. We got a bunch of comic heads
Stu,
on.
You want to rethink your outlook on this one a little bit?
I gotta talk to Warren. I gotta sit down and talk to Warren. Warren's my Crossed expert.
None of you guys have read it, right?
Oh
no, but I know Warren. Warren would be hardcore on it.
Yeah, he tries to put us on that book like any chance that's his book, bro. Like that, I've been very tempted to check it out.
And
I
that
think
book
I
is
am more
super
inclined
too, man.
Warren Smith, we talking?
No. Yeah.
Yes.
Warren, yeah. Our homie from
Mr. Anthropic.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I sent you guys the rundown, like all these different topics we're gonna hit, but kind of after talking to Stu and really like thinking about it more, fuck that. We're gonna get into all that stuff, but I want to start right up front with the meat and potatoes of this thing. Like this, the reason why I picked this movie is because of the extreme nature of it and just the way it fucking wilds out. So let's just get into it with your overall thoughts, and then just the violence, how it's handled, the sexual assault, just the nature of the film. Phable, I love the way you explained it earlier. Before you saw it, you're like, well, if it's a part of the film's identity and things of that nature, I'm like, this fucking guy's smart. I'm glad he's going to be on this show. So elaborate on that a little bit. What did you think of it and the violence?
Well, overall, I enjoyed this film. I'll tell you that. I think it's inventive in a lot of ways. I think it's well shot, surprisingly well shot.
Yeah, me too.
Honestly, actually, I like the twist on, because the first thought in my head was like, this is the Asian 28 Days Later, right? Like that was the first thought in my head, because the way everything plays out, it's almost the same thing, right? I mean, yes, he doesn't wake up and everything's already happening, but everything pretty much breaks down in its craziness, and it's like in an open city type of stuff. And these guys are like have a rage type of virus as well. But the twist is that they're fully conscious.
Right.
Like they speak, they have, you know what I mean? They're not stupid in any sort of way. And they're just as fast and malicious as the 28 Days Later zombies. So I liked all that. Overall, I liked it. There's some clunky spots. Yeah, it could be overdone. It's a little long. I would say that. I can make a nice 1 hour and an hour and a half edit out of this movie.
Right.
You take and really bring it home. But other than that, it's wild as hell. But I think all of the stuff that's in it, it is trying to say something. There is a reason for it, even though it may border on gratuitous, but still, I enjoyed it.
Hell yeah, I'm happy to hear about it. Or what about you, Steph? What did you think of it overall and the violence?
I dug it. I could definitely see why someone would have a problem with this, but for the most part, I feel like what Phable said, like it plays with that border where it's like this is almost too gratuitous, but like there's a point to it as well. Like it's certain scenes had me thinking like this guy was just trying to get something out of, well, we'll say they took sculling to a whole new level, but there, but that certain scenes like that made me think he was going too deep in the dark areas of his mind. But other than that, like that I almost kept thinking this movie was called The Sickness, because obviously that people in the movie were infected with something that just made them super deprived, and just the difference, they're extreme, just like the 28 Days Later zombies, but the difference with this one is that 28 Days Later just extremely pissed off, they just in a violent rage. These people are more sadistic. These zombies, they really, they're trying to do some ill shit, and they enjoy it. We'll talk, case in point, the dude tied up at the very beginning. He thinks he's saving him. He wasn't saving him. He was not saving him. But overall, I think what first time director for it's well shot. Damn, it kind of surprised me. It being a Canadian guy, this reminds me of the Raid Redemption. That's actually I believe it's a Taiwanese movie as well, but it's shot by like a Swedish dude, who like knows nothing about the culture. He just really had an affinity for action movies. He's like, I'm gonna go over there and make one. He made some badass raid movies, but I enjoyed it. It is a little extreme, but I think in certain areas a little pretentious. Like the whole love story feels a little weak. But that's not why we're here, to be honest. But then it's like when I'm watching something like 28 Days Later in hindsight, it's like it can be done though. You can have that story balance and the action. So it's like stacked up against a grade like that, I'm gonna deduct some points. But I think for a first time effort, it was very entertaining. I didn't regret watching it.
Hell yeah, I agree with everything you said. Like to me, that's the biggest weakness of the film. Like it starts out, it sets up this love story before everything kicks off, and I'm into that. Like I think the actors do a pretty good job, and it's there. You've got these lovers split up, the attack happens, and they've got to get to each other. Super simple. the performances are good and the story, the base of the story is there, but they never really send it home. They could have focused on that a little bit better, made it a more heartfelt ending to mix in with the violence, and it would have really sent it over the top for me. Like, I think it's solid too. I think there's a lot of good things about it, but that to me is the biggest weakness. You could say all day it's fucking, they went too far, and they did in a lot of ways, but just like what Phable was saying, like that's the point of this movie. It's kind of like Lucio Fulci's Zombie. It's like, that's gratuitous violence left and right, but that's the point of that movie. That's what that movie's trying to do, and there's a market for it. This is kind of a movie that's made for people that have seen it all, and they're just dying to feel something, that are dead on the inside, and they need something that's gonna affect them.
Yeah,
So
and it's trying to bring fear out of like you know, like, I don't know how to say this, but like, you know, being raped or overpowered or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
He's trying to make a fear out of that
Toxic masculinity. That's
like,
the
you know what
big
I'm
thing.
saying? Like,
Besides our main characters, there's like 3 other characters in the movie, and they're all these men that are all with varying degrees of subtlety, like a little bit toxic. Some of them, it's like, it's not that bad, but it's like, it does add up to where by the end of the film, you're like, okay, that is what he's trying to make a point about. I don't know if he fucking nailed it, but there is something there to that with all these men that are kind of just putting these women in awkward spots, even besides all the zombie shit. But Stu, who is, from what I can tell, not dead inside, not in need of some extreme shit to make you feel something. Tell me honestly, and lay it on me thick, brother. What was your experience watching the film?
I did not like this film really at all. I will start with what I did like. I thought Phable brings up a good point. I loved how the zombies were conscious. Like, initially, I thought that was going to be. I liked how they looked. Also, the look was cool with the black eyes and the redness around. Like, they just look cool. But I thought they were going to go. I thought they could have gone a whole lot farther with the zombies are conscious thing, instead of just making it like a. And I get that's kind of the point, that it was supposed to be a shock you type feel. But after a point, it got to a point where I was wondering, are we like satirizing this and looking at it in a critical light? Like, are we celebrating it? Like, it became so much. And like Steph said, the skull scene for me was, that's what I paused and got on the phone with you, and I'm like, hey man, what you got me watching, bro?
Well, I like what you said, because I respect you. You're like, I don't even know. I don't know if you said these exact words. I know you said, I don't even know if I want to review this, but what I was picking up from you is, you don't even know if you want to be like supporting this kind of shit. And that's why I came back. It's just a movie. No one was sexually assaulted.
I know, you're like, it's just a movie, dude. Like, I know it's a fucking movie, though, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, like what are we really doing here? What's the story we're really trying to tell? And it's just like, I would have enjoyed a little bit more balance. It would have been cool to see some women going crazy on some dudes, or like, it was just all creepy men, and it just got to a point where it was just like, I don't know. I just felt like the gratuitous for me just became too much, and I had to like, I paused. I ended up finishing it, but it was a chore for me to get through this one.
I almost want to play you guys Stu's message that he sent me, because at one point he's like, well, I finished it. I saw it, bro. So I guess that's where we're at. Like,
it's a thing. I think that's it. It's a thing that happened. So.
Yeah, it's a thing that happened. You can't go back. It's been done. I think to your point, that's definitely part of the point, is that, because I thought that too. I'm like, oh, you don't really see many. There are some female zombies, but it really does focus on the men and the toxic masculinity. We were talking a little bit behind stage. None of us are fucking experts on Taiwanese culture and social, but the vibe that I get is that if they're not exactly where we're at with the battle of the sexes, maybe they're like 3, 4, 5 years behind us. Because it seems like this is some stuff that was like hot to talk about, the battle of the sexes, like in 2015, 2016, Me Too movement. And it's not like we don't still see that stuff. And it's not like those issues aren't still an issue. But it's almost a little played out at this point. It feels a little dated in that way. And I wonder if they're slightly behind that way.
Yeah. And it wants to say something about China too. Like with the whole, like that little military press conference and him blowing up the leader's head. So who was the director and who were the creative minds behind this? Were they Chinese or no?
just a Canadian dude named Rob Jabbaz. This is how I'm going to
Okay.
pronounce his name. Jabbaz.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is funny because you think about it, it's like, you know, we have this image of Canada in our mind. Like, oh, these super nice people. But some gnarly shit
David
comes out of
Cronenberg?
Canada. Just David
Anybody?
Cronenberg and his son. Just those two alone. It's like, all right, I'm gonna keep an eye on Canada.
That's enough. Yeah.
Yeah. They can't be fully trusted. But I mean,
yeah, they love viruses and fucking they love crazy shit over there. Bro.
To your point though, I don't know, and this is another thing we were talking about. Like this fucking video might get banned in China just for us talking about Taiwan. China doesn't recognize Taiwan as a separate country. That's the one thing that I know.
Yeah,
they're like, "What do you mean Taiwan? That's us."
That's why I hit you up earlier too, man. And I asked, I hit Vern up earlier, and I was like, "Is this a Chinese movie or is this an Asian movie set in China?"
Right.
Because I don't think China would allow any imagery
definitely not. No,
of that, like at all. Like
no,
not at all.
And if they, like the people, they you know, the people who made that were still living in the country, they'd disappear them real quick.
Right. We may have said it at one point, but for those that haven't seen or don't know what we're talking about, there's a scene where it's like the leader of China has his head blown off on live TV by the general, takes a grenade, blows his head off. Pretty dope practical effect. Cheesy, you could tell what's going on there, but effective. But yeah, to your point, I don't think I've never seen a Chinese horror film. The more I think, I've never seen a Chinese film. We see Korean horror, we see J horror, we've seen Taiwanese horror, but as far as I know, I don't know if they just keep that shit in house or if they're just not making it. I'm just ignorant to it. Is I guess what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know what China's
who knows? Who knows?
Cinematically,
the censors out there. I know that their government sort of like has a hand in Hollywood.
Release the stew tapes. All right, E.
You don't want that, E.
My bad, Steph. You were gonna say something.
Oh no! I was just gonna say. Well, this is a random thought because when I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a Chinese film, but I shit like maybe like Crouch the Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Jet Li's Hero. You know, I don't know if those are Chinese or those.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, a lot of them are Hong Kong films. Hong Kong for a long time was under British control, so their cinema was it was allowed, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like they had a lot more freedom, Hong Kong, before they got handed over back to China. So that was a big thing when that happened. But
these guys are cracking me up. The chat down there, Sheila and Eric and Two Gun. So Two Gun's read it. It's definitely something that I want to check out. It's sold out. You can't like get on Amazon and buy it. It's on eBay and it's not overly expensive, but I spent enough money buying fucking Blu-rays before shows. I didn't need to buy a graphic novel as well. But well, we've touched on it a little bit, but Phable, what do you think about just the zombies? We've definitely touched on it, but your overall thoughts on the way that it's like the evolution of the zombie. That's kind of what I'm focused on in this series. We start with the Romero zombies. I mentioned last week, most of the Asian zombies that I've seen seem more inspired by Danny Boyle's zombies in 28 Days Later. These guys definitely fall in line with that. But what's your overall thoughts on the way that the monster was used in this film?
I liked it a lot. I like Stu said earlier, I like their look, you know, the dark eyes. It looks like they sort of have like acid tears or something because like the bottom of their eyelids are all like kind of burnt or something, like their tears burned them or I don't know. It just has this weird burnt look on the bottom, which I appreciated. I love their sadistic nature. Which is really terrifying. All of those children on the basketball court, the crazy old man rapey zombie, they all look incredibly creepy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially when they have those bizarre smiles and shit and their teeth all fucked up. So I love the way they look and I love the way they acted. And they were saying some pretty foul shit. Yeah. Like that old man was saying something like, I'm going to put my thing in, I'm going to your fingers and all that. It was saying some wild shit.
I love when the dude chops off the main character's fingers. Yeah. And we had just seen him earlier. He's just super sweet neighbor. He's got some spice he's going to give to him later. But he's like, I'll finger your girl for you. Yeah. As he's chewing on his fingers. And that's the other thing. He just spits out his fingers. They're not eating human flesh. They're chewing on some human flesh, but that's not. They don't need it to survive. Yeah. It's just for fun to get a rise out of them. The other thing that you made me think of, and I feel like this is like a cultural difference. I'm watching this other Korean zombie show called All of Us Are Dead, and I feel like age is a bigger thing in their culture. Like in that show, like the seniors and the underclassmen, like we have that here in America, like seniors and underclassmen, like there's this like divide between them, and the seniors, you know, look down on the freshmen. But I feel like it's more so over there. Like it's more of a big thing. If you're younger and I'm older, you do what I say and you're afraid of me. And that's why it seems weird when we've got the basketball court scene. And at first I wasn't even really realizing that, oh, these are kids. So they run from him at one point. He goes up and he fucks one of them up, and the 3 of the zombies go and they take off. And I'm like, that's just kind of weird. Like they could have fucked him up. And I feel like that's a cultural thing. It's like, oh no, those are kids and he's an adult, so he would fuck them up, even though they're zombies. He ended up running from them, but I could be fucking totally off base there. But that's the vibe that I got.
Yeah,
could be,
I mean, yeah. But a lot of this movie tells me that it isn't probably Chinese, right? Because when the old man hits on the young girl, she tells him straight up, like, listen, I'm trying to enjoy my book. Don't make me call some sexual harassment on you. Yeah, he got shook at that, like at first before he turned. You know what I mean? But he was kind of scared at that notion, and then that really pissed him off. You know what I mean?
Right.
So obviously, wherever this comes from, they're there with it, like, you know what I mean? Like men can't be just harassing women and stuff like that, you know?
Right.
I mean?
Yeah. Bro, I'm glad you're on here, because this shit would never happen in New York City. Like they would have got squashed right there in the
well, let me tell you something
or whatever. Like,
I'm gonna tell you something. One of the reasons why this movie is actually very terrifying was that train scene.
Yes.
Train,
because I've been on trains before, and that is one of New Yorkers' biggest fears, is that somebody's gonna bug out on one of them.
Especially a stabbing. I felt like a stabbing before, like it'll be a 2 or 3 people before people really know what's going on, because you can't. It's not like a gun attack where. You know what I mean?
And
like
this was really crazy, exaggerated, like Mortal Kombat style, with mad blood just splattering everywhere. But it still was terrifying, you know, because anybody could have just got stabbed, and everybody was worried, and nobody knew what was going on, and you can't escape. So, you know, that was pretty scary for me. That one hit me right there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I will say, we'll touch back on the subway scene. When I first saw this movie, I'm midway through the subway scene when I fucking erased Train to Busan off the ZOMBIEFEST list and put The Sadness on. I'm like, holy shit. I feel like that was kind of a nod to Train to Busan to have that scene on the train too. But Lynk, what did you think overall of the zombies in this flick?
Effective. I mean, they're terrifying. It's the fact that, you know, it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't have any inhibition to hold them back or anything. They're just acting out the most vile shit they can think of on the spot. With there's no moral core for them. It's gone, you know. So that's terrifying when someone doesn't give a shit about anything, you know, crazy. Like, that's the scary, probably the most realistic, scary thing there is. And that's them in this entire movie, you know. Like, it's like Phable said, the train scene, that's anxiety times 10 for me, you know, because it's like I don't ride trains often. I've been on one, but it's like I can put myself with the idea of, like Phable said, being trapped. No one, you know, no one wants to step up and be the first one to get stabbed in a situation like that. Like, even if some people moved up and you could take them down, someone's gonna get got in that process. No one wants to be that statistic. So it's like, it'd be a terrifying situation, man. But yeah, that, like I said, they were very effective in that aspect where it's like someone that truly doesn't give a fuck is a scary, scary thing. And, you know, with a mob mentality of people like that, it would be terrifying. So I dug them visually. You know, these guys, you guys have all said it best. Like I didn't really peep. I like the scarring around the eyes, but I didn't really think of like the acid you were talking about, Phable. I like that little touch.
But they show that dude. They show that dude in the beginning, remember? And he had the sunglasses, and then you see a tear roll down. And then they show the boyfriend at the end, and his shits look like they was all burnt up. Like he did the same crying before he turned into whatever he turned into.
Right. Which I like that kind of plays into the way they describe the zombies and how they work in this movie, where they're they're fully aware of what they're doing and they feel bad about it in the inside, but they compare it to like blinking or drinking water. They're just compelled to do it. They have to kill it. And but at the same time, they sure as shit seem to be enjoying the hell out of it. And that's another thing that's really different about these zombies. Like when the subway scene goes down, he stabs that one guy. The way he turns on everyone, he's like, ha ha, ha ha. And it's like, that is scary as shit. The glee that he has and the zero fear at the same time.
Yeah.
But what about you, Stu? On the zombies.
Yeah, I think you guys said it all. I love the cheer as like the kind of signifier that some shit was about to go down. The boy, I liked how at the end of the way as she was asking the boyfriend how it felt, and he gave us kind of like the out, on the outside look at it, and like it feels like I finally have a purpose in life. She's like, he's like, I knew I just had to make it to you and find you, and now I'm gonna cut your tits off
and peel your skin back. And he says it like it's a sweet thing to do. I will peel your skin off so slow.
At that point, I was just laughing. I was like, man, let's wrap this shit up. That shit was so great. But yeah, I think you guys have already said it. The zombies were cool. I thought one of the coolest parts about this movie, I thought, was the look and like the consciousness of the zombies. So yeah.
I think, like, for me, I think the strongest suit outside of the zombies, that's the thing. Like I said, I wanted to do something different for the finale, and I think this is the movie that I have personally seen that's used zombies in the most unique way most recently. But for me, it's the pacing. The pacing of this film, the camera work, everything is lit immaculately, everything just looks fucking incredible. And the way they pace stuff out, and we'll go back to the subway scene. It kicks off, one zombie's killing all these people. Blood's everywhere. It's fucking crazy. We've got these two characters after it's over and people have kind of got this guy and held him down. And she's like, oh, it's okay. It's over. And then you see that camera just start moving around slowly. And then someone in the background just fucking turns. And as soon as they've stabbed someone jumps from behind and starts biting someone. It's just like, they do that again when it kicks off at the diner. It's just like one thing after another. Fucking grease trap in the face. Then someone's jumping off the building and there's a car crash and it's just like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, I love how they set that up too. Like, the old man was off, right? But then he's going about his day and he's at the diner and like Phable said, like how it's shot, like you just see the old man kind of in the background. You're like, oh, fuck. Like as soon as you see him like slowly shuffle through the scene, you're like, oh shit. It was really.
I will say that. Something that I was talking about last week in terms of what I wanted to see from 28 Days Later is like how quickly the shit can pop off. And we got to see that in this movie in spades.
Right.
Like just the pure chaos, people just turning, not knowing where to go and why people are getting sick and why they're turning and shit like that. So I like that I saw that. More of that in 28 Years Later.
Right, exactly. More of that 28 years later. And it's one of those things, like how many times have we seen this in a movie? But it's almost the only way to do this scene in a movie is just to make it more extreme or make it more heartfelt. And this dude clearly went the extreme route when it came to that. So we've touched on the zombies, we've touched on the subway scene. You guys just want to go through I want to get into the virologist at the end and his moral quandary. I think we're all going to have a pretty easy time on what side to pick, whether he was in the right or in the wrong to inject all these babies with this fucking virus. But to me, I do kind of want to touch on that. But before that, what the fuck did I just want to do? Oh, what did I want to do? I just any I don't want to call it favorite moments because I don't know how many of these would be favorite moments. I have some, but just any standout moments of like, holy shit, what the fuck did I just see that you can remember from the film that we haven't touched on already, if you can. Phable, you got any thing you want to highlight?
Highlight?
Yeah. That's why I say highlight. It doesn't have to be a favorite moment.
I don't know if I want to highlight this.
Anything you would like to describe in great detail.
You know what I'm going to say. Like, I think everybody here knows what I'm going to say. And if you've seen this movie, you know what I'm going to say. I mean, has there ever been a film where you see somebody put their penis in an eye socket? That was freaking insane. That was insane. To put that on film or whatever, just putting that in a movie, period. Right. It's crazy. So I don't know if I want to highlight it, but I want to say that that shit is that you can watch that in this movie.
Right.
That happened. That happened in a movie.
This is like, I feel like I've said it before, like comparing it. If I go back to the 70s and I talk about Wes Craven's early work, I look at it as like there's like an immaturity to it. And I feel like, I know not everyone agrees with that, but it is just like, and I almost say that because this is the type of stuff I would have written when I was 18. Not that I have those skills, but just like,
That's
what's
so
the
true.
craziest shit that you could do? What's the nastiest fucking thing that you could say to someone right now? And that's what this movie does over and over. But I do feel like that scene right there is the first time where you're like, holy fuck. I mean, they do start sexually assaulting people on the train. And I'm not going to lie, even me, I was like, oh, I mean, come on. Do we need to go there? But at the same time, it's like horror is supposed to be pushing the envelope. And you're going to push the envelope. Sometimes people are going to push back and be like, fuck that. I'm never going to watch your movies again.
I think once initially when you see that, yes, you probably do maybe can get some feelings from it. But after a while, you kind of understand that everybody's sexually depraved, and they kind of bring that home in that little orgy scene in the hospital when you see the women, you know, getting it on with the guys and
like
stuff
big
like
old
that.
blood
So
orgy
to
or
say,
whatever.
like, everybody is sick in the fucking head. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's sick in the head. So it yes, it does focus on the rapey guys, but everybody was rapey. Like, you know,
they did show girls having
Yeah.
Consensual sex too. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, as far as, I don't think that they were sexually assaulting anyone. But Steph, what about you, brother? You got any scenes you'd like to highlight?
Oh yeah, come on. We all know it's the sculling scene, bro. That's like, that's on film. Like,
right.
Not the whole thing. You know, it's very heavily insinuated, implied.
Yeah, we should lay that out there. You don't actually see full penetration. You just see an old man enjoying himself a whole hell of a lot. The rest of it's implied.
And that's, you know, I can't say it's something that I would recommend, but it definitely stands out. Like, you know, it happened and I saw it. And yeah.
Hell yeah. Stu, you got any moments that you'd like to share with the group?
You know, it's definitely that one. I mean, like we all said. And then they try to act like homegirl got her revenge because she got the dude who was just like sitting there watching it all happen. Like, by the way, fuck that guy. Like, really? You're just gonna watch that happen? Like, oh no, bro. That was just that was like definitely the boiling point, we'll say, for me.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah, dude. I mean, I feel like I've got like I should have just made a list of actual fucking moments. Oh, I'll say one. We've kind of touched on it a little bit, but just to describe it a little bit more detail, the basketball scene, he comes upon this group of people that are torturing this guy on a basketball court, beating him over the head with baseball bats, and they wrap some barbed wire around a fucking basketball pole, and they line him up, and they smash his nuts into it. He goes up, our main character saves him. They all go running off, and the guy turns to him. He's like, what the fuck? I was about to shoot my load. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is bad shit crazy.
Yeah.
But it's just his reaction. And to me, I almost, maybe it's just my reaction. I have nothing else to do but laugh at a lot of these moments. Like in movies like this, when it goes so extreme, like I find myself laughing, and I don't know if that says something about me, but it's an uncomfortable laughter, at least. I'll give you that. But that part, that is fucking funny. Like, I thought that was legit funny. He looked crazy too. Like the special effects on him. I wrote down the name. There's not like an actual guy that's credited with it. It's IFSFX art maker. We need to import those people, whoever the fuck they are, because not only is it like really, really well done, we don't get a lot of good practical effects works in the States in 2024 or 2023 was the last time I'd actually seen a movie. But it's unique too. It looks different. Like, he takes a different approach. We've seen a lot of zombies bite a chunk out of someone's leg, or the grease trap moment, like when the dude's peeling his face off. Like, it's a unique, twisted fucking look at it.
Like how he was like using oil and then trying to like claw it all away at the same time. That was great.
That's a little bit of that style over substance, or it's like, why the fuck isn't he moving? Why is he sitting there letting that guy peel his face off? It looked cool. I guess that's why. But
I mean, understandably, she was scarred. Actually, now that I think of it, bro. But I was
Yeah.
gonna say, come on, after what you just went through, that you're just gonna sit there and let. But once again, she was. Yeah, a lot of shit happens in this movie, man. A
Right.
lot of
Well,
shit.
with all the shit that happens in this movie, why did it gross me out so much when that old lady spit food in that guy's face? To me, that was like one of the most. Oh no! Come on, this should be rated X. That was fucking disgusting. But speaking of disgusting, we've got our main female character. She's been running from this guy with a fucking axe the whole movie, and she ends up in. Totally shocked me. Like, this is one thing I appreciate about the movie. The first time I was like, oh, this is a little silly. They're just trying to tack on another over the top, we're going to shock you scene. But I sure as shit didn't see it coming. It was very unpredictable. Where this virologist guy, he's been warning people about the virus. He ended up with all these 12 babies inside this hospital. And his idea was there's zombies outside the door. They're going to get in. They're going to kill these babies. They're going to 100% die. And it's going to be really a nasty death. So he injects them all with the virus, hoping that one of them will be immune and they'll be able to use that baby to create a vaccine and save the world. So I don't know. As I'm looking through this movie, and I'm like, what can we talk about that isn't just people skull fucking women that have the Courtney Cox scream 3 fucking bangs? And this was the big thing. It's like, all right, this is a moral dilemma because it's actually he's got half of a fucking point. So I don't know. Just to go backwards, Phable, I've been putting you on the spot. Stu, you look pretty uncomfortable. You look pretty comfortable. Let's change that. What do you think about that situation? And is he right to do that? Is he wrong to kill those babies or to inject them with the virus? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. His like whole deal, like she gets in there and he's just clacking away at the keyboard for fucking 20 minutes. It's just like
with a gun on her.
Yeah. And then like the whole thing, he's like, wash off. She doesn't even clean off all the way, and he's like, the whole thing was just bizarre at that point. And then, of course, he's got the helicopter contact, and she got shot in the end, right? Going out on the roof, we hear the pops of gunfire.
I like that they left it a little bit ambiguous. Yeah, Steph, I didn't notice it the first time either, but the second time at the end of the movie,
rewatched it. I had to rewind it and watch it again.
She goes up to the balcony after the virologist has been killed, and all we hear ah. So I think we're left to believe both of our main characters didn't make it out of this thing. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I kind of like the hopelessness feeling of that, though. It definitely matches the rest of the film. But all right, I'm not look. It's not that it was disgusting. I can handle the disgusting, but make it good art in the and I just didn't feel like this was good art or really like a good movie. Like given, like it just felt like it was just trying to shock you, and that was it. It just didn't feel like there was much behind it, and that was my issue with it. I can when you're talking about Fulci Zombie and the gore there, I love that because it felt more natural, more organic, and more part of the movie, and I like the way they focused on it, and the way they shot some of those scenes I thought was really well done. But this just felt like kind of just like a grab bag of like shock you moments at
you
points
didn't
in time, and that was my issue with it.
I don't want to debate the issue. Maybe I do. You didn't appreciate the cinematography much. You didn't think it was like well shot.
No, it absolutely was. But like it's hard to appreciate those type of things when they're continually like laying this on you every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I could talk about the cinematography in Fulci Zombie all day because it was, it was more a center point of the film. Here, I feel like what they were trying to keep front and center wasn't that, and but it definitely was. I like how, despite the mayhem and the chaos going on, they always had those slow creep up moments through the frosted glass, through the door behind them. I like that one shot, especially when he found her again with the axe, and like the guard was there with the gun, and you're like, what is she worried about? And then he moves forward just a little bit, and you see, like those were really well shot for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it was just hard to enjoy.
Sorry, you guys have me thinking of a gross scene that was like not too gross, but for some reason it fucked me up. It's like the doctor gets his foot chopped off, and then like the zombie like throws up his foot wound, and I'm like, oh, that's fucked up, bro. You're definitely gone, bro. Like
that's the perfect example. That's kind of encapsulates this movie. Did he need to throw up on his foot? But how is that? Yeah. I mean, the movie leans into that all the way, every moment of the film. It is a good movie to compare it to Fulci Zombie because, it's not there's not a lot of depth to it outside of
Right.
the gore and the violence. It is highlighting that. I feel like even though I could watch Fulci Zombie more, and to me that's, it's like a classic. It fits in time in a different way where it's more important of a film, but this one is doing more in a way thematically, I think, with the attempts at dealing with toxic masculinity. I don't think Fulci Zombie dealt with fucking anything other than zombies.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I do appreciate that. But Steph, you got anything to add on should this man have killed those babies? Let's go back to that.
Oh no. That was a weak excuse. My man was just sick. I think he had the virus. He was just, for whatever reason, it was slowly taking him over.
I can see that.
I don't know. I can't any other story route. He, beyond him just being sick, he's just, with the sickness or the sadness, he's just oh my gosh, a Serbian film is.
You've seen that? I hear about it all the time. A Serbian film. That's one that I hear about.
I watched
it's fucked up.
So what's that supposed to be about? Can we?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Well,
I'll save that for like.
It's not worth it.
I'll save that for 2026. We'll give the channel a break on that. This shit.
There's like
it's not that serious,
aren't there?
But no, those human centipedes. There's like 4. I know there's at least 3, but there might be like 4.
Like 3
I've never seen any of them. 2's the one that I
I
hear about online constantly. Like, oh, never watched 2. And I'm like, I think I'll just skip them all until I'm fucking running real dry over here, and then we'll start digging around in there. Yeah. But Lynk,
last resorts only.
Anything else to say, or you wanna?
No, Doctor he was evil, bro. That was just an excuse for him to get his rocks off in a sick way. Like, come on, anybody who's got a heart wouldn't have taken that route.
Well, I think the reason why I found it at least like semi-interesting is because like, anytime that's like, this is the whole world. I can save the world right now. But there's something about youth, the way that we in this culture put youth on a pedestal and we protect it at all else. I would say we would have to risk it for just that one life, one of the 12 babies to survive. We would have to risk the whole thing. And then plus he said he's behind the strongest door in the hospital. It seemed like he could have got around that situation. You know what I mean? It was just but it's just like what we were saying. It was just a way to throw one more like, holy shit, there's fucking dead babies too. You know?
Yeah. Borderline the old dude on the train. Like, like you said, he was one of the other dudes in this movie that exuded the toxic masculinity. Like, he was very controlling. The other guy was very disrespectful and upfront. This guy was very controlling. Wash yourself off. He's got the gun on her. He's demanding she do all this shit. When he said it. Right. So it's like, if that aspect in there, I really don't see myself aligning with that viewpoint. But I would have maybe given him benefit of the doubt. But the fact he was so toxic, I can't. He's just being a sadistic fuck. In my eyes, at the end of the day.
Well, and then once the sickness or the sadness does take him over, like his last word is, I enjoy the hell out of killing all those babies. That's why Phable, it makes me wonder if you're right. Like, or I think one of you guys said it, like he was already like exhibiting symptoms of the sadness, or he was just a piece of shit. I mean, well, either way, he was a piece of shit, it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Phable, you got anything to add on to that, or you just want to jump into your final thoughts and grade?
I mean, you guys are totally right. The guy is a sadistic bastard. I agree with Stu. It's a weird stretch in a lot of ways. Just running into this fucking room in this abandoned wing of a hospital where he has the virus there.
Yeah, he's like, it's got a heavy metal door. That's my parents feel their kids are safe.
He happens to be the guy that's in contact with the government that's got a helicopter.
It was kind of a weird stretch. But what I get out of that scene more than anything is the tropiness of it. There's a lot of homages going on in this movie. There's tons of them. The president's head blowing up is a direct homage to Scanners.
Yeah.
I remember, if you remember Scanners, I mean, absolutely. Finding, being in the post-apocalyptic or being in a apocalyptic situation, and you go and you find a group of humans, and you're like, oh, I think I'm safe, and you find out the humans are fucking psycho too. You know what I mean? We just saw that in 28 Days Later, where they go to the army guys. And the army guys are fucking sick bastards as well. You know, so that finding this sick scientist guy is just another version of that. It's just another trope of this genre. So
it's a Romeroism. It all goes back to Romero.
So I think
great point,
you know, the 28 Days Later thing. Like I saw it in the beginning when he's trying to start the bike and he sees the group of people just standing over a body and shit.
I fucking
and
love
he's
that.
trying not to make any noise. I'm like 28 Days Later. That's where that comes
from.
You know
that moment right there, it makes it. I wanted to highlight the music too. Like that's a great musical cue. He's trying to start his bike and it makes a little noise. The music kicks in, and then the way that all these zombies kind of look up at him. There's something so cinematic and fucking creepy about
No, it was
that.
great. It was greatly shot. But yeah, just as far as that scene's concerned, it was a weird stretch. I didn't mind it, but at the same time, I could see that that's just some sort, like you said, Romeroism or a trope of this genre.
Right. I mean, there's so many of those things from those Romero films that are almost impossible to avoid. It's like it's part of the natural order of things. Of course, when society breaks down, some humans are going to take advantage of that, is one way to look at it. And that's kind of what goes down. Or people just, fear makes them lose themselves in a way. But Phable, I'll send it right back to you, man. It's gonna be a speedy episode. We're gonna wrap this bitch up. If you guys down in the comments, if you watch this, first of all, I'm sorry. I apologize. If you watched it because of me and you didn't enjoy it, I really apologize. But if you watched it and enjoyed it, like sick fucks like my buddy Two Gun over there, then cool. Well, what did you think of the film? Give me your letter grade below. Phable, final thoughts, and letter grade, my friend.
Final thoughts. This is a well-made movie that is held back by its length and overdoneness of the gore, and I would say that the one thing that this can take away from 28 Days Later, because I remember Steph said earlier that he wished that some more of this breakdown in society would have shown in 28 Days Later. Something I think that should be taken from 28 Days Later and put into this movie is the character building of 28 Days Later. That's what's missing here, big time, because there are two scenes in this movie that are super grounded and totally got me, and that's when the fat girl in the hospital thanks Kat for
that was the best scene in the movie.
Straight up for pushing her when she wanted to give up. I felt that, and that was another language, and I still felt it.
That was the best scene for me. Sure.
So her going through. Her getting the skull fuck and all that shit, and what she goes through, it's harder to see because of that scene. And the same thing with the boyfriend at the end, when she's talking to him, how does it feel? And he's talking to her, and at first it seems like he's reverted, right? Like, because he's like, I love you. I love you. I came here for you. I came here all the way, and I'm feeling it for her because that's a man, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then he starts talking that sadistic shit, like, I want to cut your tits off. Like that. And that was awesome to pay off because she was crying and bawling. So that I need more of that in this movie, shorter. Because once we get to the point where it's like, okay, we know that this shit could get gnarly, then we don't have to do that no more. We could sprinkle that in. We could do another gnarly death scene later and another gnarly to end it. You know what I mean? But fill it with those moments, because those moments in this movie, even though they're rare, they were done very well.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more, man. Very well said. What up, Rogue? Thanks for popping in, brother.
Oh, what up?
Letter grade, B-.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, man. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the film, and I really appreciate your thoughts on it. Stu, my brother, final thoughts.
I just want to real quick shout out Brother Joe in the chat, who had like a great movie recommendation. Like, we go to Rocky Horror's Picture Show or Little Shop of Horrors musical comedy.
I have both of those on the list. I sent Robbie a list, and Little Shop of Horrors was on there.
Ooh. Oh yeah. After tonight, that list sounds lovely.
Next week, I'll just say right now, I'm doing Tucker and Dale versus Evil with my buddies Peter and Eric from Two Geeks Different Streets. Take it down a notch. Two Gun, I know you're a fan of that one. We're gonna fucking take a breather. This is the way I plan to set these up. if I go hard like this, we'll take it easy next week. I don't want to fucking, I don't want to change my personality in the long run. Fuck any of us up. But sorry, Stu, where are you going?
No, man. I think Phable made some great points just now. I completely agree with what he said about that one scene. That was definitely the best scene in the movie for me, and I definitely needed more of that. I definitely felt like we could have got more character arc and development, especially from the girlfriend. She eventually got on her shit and killed that dude and took care of business, but it took the whole damn movie. And
plus that, can I jump in and say that was
Yeah, go
quick? The axe guy had been chasing her the whole movie. He catches up to her and she just fucking kills him. It's cool. She kills him in a very violent, over the top way, and he's like, "You're just like me," which was kind of a cool moment. But I felt like there could have been give me like a minute and a half chase between the two of them at the end. It might be a little tropey or whatever, but it felt a little quick right there. That was one of my biggest issues with the pacing. But
no, very well said. But yeah, I don't know. Men are pigs. God, I'm so thankful for women on this planet. God is a woman. But I think overall grade, I enjoyed this conversation. I gotta say, it brought me. This is why I'm thankful doing these things like this. You show me parts of this movie to appreciate that I probably wouldn't have otherwise in my narrow-mindedness or my eagerness to like just kind of shut this one down and shut it out. But so I'll go C-. I was gonna go like D+D on this, but I'll go C-. And I appreciate all y'all for giving me those different perspectives. Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah,
I think we did a great job with this one tonight.
No, I do too.
This was a wild ass flick.
And I really do. I mean, you know what I mean. I know I gave you a fucking pretty strong trigger warning for When Evil Lurks. I didn't know you as well then. I'm like, well, he liked When Evil Lurks. He'll be fine. But I appreciate you sitting through this one and coming on the show. Man. I really, really do.
Absolutely.
So,
and ZOMBIEFEST has been amazing, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
For me, this is going to be an annual thing. If it's not every January, it's certainly every year. I'm picking out zombie movies for next year already. But Steph, my brother, what's your final thoughts and letter grade?
I'll start off with the grade. I'll give it a C+. And the reason for that, it's well shot for a first-time filmmaker. Very entertaining, very cool looking. Very unique in their approach with how the sickness or the sadness are presented. What are the zombies? But it is like those heartfelt moments. It's like they're not bad, but they're weak. There could be more. And I think that would definitely add some heart or soul to this film, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And because to some of this, people would just think something super gratuitous and extreme, and I can understand that. It's not for everybody. But if they had, just like you were saying earlier, those little moments sprinkled, like this whole movie doesn't have to be like an extreme. You can save those extreme moments as sprinkle moments. Build that's what we got in 28 Days Later, almost, only to a lesser degree. Like, there was a lot of character building in that movie, and then we had some crazy scenes or some set pieces with the infected chasing them, but it was never too graphic. We looked forward to that because we had already seen earlier how much of a threat they could be. We didn't need to constantly see that in order to understand what a threat they are. So I think a little bit more expanding on the relationship would have gone a long way. But it is for a first-time film, very well shot, very entertaining, and it's people going crazy. It's zombies, so it's a solid C+.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, dude. For me, I think I'm gonna go fucking. I've been going back and forth between B and B+ all day. I'm actually gonna go B+, man, and part of it. For me, like my only issue with the film is the character moments, but there's just not enough of that relationship, but it is there. And like I said, the performances are solid. Yeah. The cinematography is fucking fire. And I'm finding more and more like what I appreciate the most in art in general is uniqueness. And find me another film like this that is as entertaining as this one is, and is shot as well. And the people behind the crew is this talented. Special effects, camera, editing, lighting. it's fire as fuck across the board. And that pacing, I watched this thing 3
Pacing
times
is
now.
good. Yeah,
Watched
pacing
it again yesterday, and it's just like bam, bam, bam. It's just, for me, it never gets boring. It's an hour and 36. They could have, it runs like an hour 40 or whatever after the credits. They could have chopped 5 minutes off for sure. But for me, man, it's just, it never gets boring. It never lets up. And I think his mentality is, once I've started at 10, I can only go to 11. And he keeps trying to one up himself throughout the whole film. And in a way, he does do that. Like with the babies at the end, it's different than all the shit that we saw that grossed us out before that. He takes it in a different way. He fits it in with the plot. And it's just like, I don't know, it entertains me like extremely throughout the whole thing. So I'm gonna go with a B+. I don't feel good about it, but that is what I'm gonna go. It's what I'm gonna go with. So all right. Zombie Fest officially wrapped it up. We kicked off this thing, me, Steph, Mr. Rocket Robbie Billups with Night of the Living Dead. That was a ball. Stu and I had a fantastic conversation on this one. Then I edited out and I re-edited this section on Return of the Living Dead. Check them both out.
Dude, Return of the Living Dead was like, I'm so grateful I got to watch that.
Me
one.
too, dude.
That was amazing. Yeah.
I'm glad you loved it as much as I did.
Linnea, was that the one with Linnea?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I know why you appreciate it, bro.
That's like the least thing of the movie, dude. I think that's the thing you remember about the movie.
Juana, man, like I was like,
hey, listen.
That shit fucking threw me.
Night of the Living Dead was probably like my only access to some ladies, right? Like, mom didn't know that scene was in there when we rented it. You know what I'm saying?
She was like, "What in the fuck kind of porn are we watching?"
No, it had to be like for the time, dude. For the time, that had to be like the craziest shit ever.
Well, it's still, even all these years later, like how often do you get a full nude,
full on
drip scene in the middle of your mainstream flick? So anyway, last week, 28 days later, one of the longest conversations we've had, and one of the best conversations that we've had on this channel. Next week, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Gonna be talking again. Eric and Peter from Two Geeks Different Streets. Blame Phable again. Moved to Friday nights, 9 Eastern. What you got going on tomorrow night, my brother?
Oh yeah, man. We'll be joined by the one and only Jedi Knight, man. A great community member. Guy that has like one of the most illest X-Men collections that I've ever seen. He's constantly showing them off and flexing on me, like, check this 9.8 X-Men 102 or some shit like that. Oh, so I can't wait for the blaming with Chet tomorrow. That's gonna be awesome.
Fuck it out.
And I'm gonna tell him, like, yo, I want to see that shit, bro. But yeah, of course, Stu will be with us, the new co-host, Blame Phable. Nick, I think Nick is gonna clock in. I'm not 100% sure. Brother Joe, of course, and we're gonna be also joined by Tacky, man. Once again, Tacky was on last week's show. He's gonna come back this week. So that's gonna be a lot of fun, man. We're just gonna kick it and talk about some stuff, a little bit of different pop culture stuff, not just comics. There's a couple things out, a couple trailers, a couple announcements. So we'll get into it. Okay, come 9 o'clock tomorrow. Down. Bring your drink, bring your smoke, bring whatever the hell makes you happy.
If you didn't say that, that's what I was about to say. Bring your drink, bring your smoke. It's Friday. It's Friday. You ain't got no job. You ain't got shit to do.
To the damn thumbnail somehow. Bring your drink. Gotta work that in.
Just put a subtle little smoke fucking emoji there in the background. So, and then another show that has moved to a new date, new time, or same time, different day on Tuesdays. This is the episode that you guys just did. Tell the people about it, Stu, Steph.
Yeah, man. Tuesday, last Tuesday, or every Tuesday really at 9 p.m. Supreme Clientele. This past Tuesday we covered Cobra Commander, Avengers Twilight, and then on our Marvel Knights look, we did Inhumans, Black Panther, and Bendis and Maleev's Daredevil. We were joined by the homie Eric, who was a big Daredevil fan. We talked about that. Just got a new format, some new things going on, looking at comics old and new. So y'all come through every Tuesday, 9 o'clock. Hope to see y'all out there.
Booyah. Hells yeah, brother.
Amazing thumbnail, by the way, from our man Berant.
Looks like shit. But no, I'm just joking. Thanks, brother. Thanks, brother. This is a fucking great thumbnail. Monday night. I forgot that I was doing this show, but I am doing it.
Oh man,
Over
what
on
a
Pop
classic.
Culture Philosophers, 12 Monkeys.
I think I'm on that one too, man.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
I think he's gonna hit me with the. I don't know if he's gonna hit me with the email. That's the only way I'm gonna know.
I reached out for him. I was wondering if I was on Casino. I was like, hey, I did not sign up for Casino, right? He's like, you did not, but you are on 12 Monkeys. I'm like, okay. I forgot that too. Dude, I'm on Pop Culture Philosophers all February, pretty much. I think I didn't mean to do that. I'm like,
dude.
They're gonna be so sick of me over there. I'm doing like every movie next month. But again, man, Tucker and Dale versus Evil next week.
I gotta watch that. Is that's Alan Tudyk in that? I gotta.
Yeah. Come on. Alan Tudyk,
it's out
right?
there.
You can't go wrong.
Right, you can't go wrong with Alan Tudyk.
It's good.
Search for it. I'm pretty sure it's on Tubi. I just watched it for free somewhere. It's a ton of fun. It's just, it's way more comedy than it is horror, but they play off horror tropes in a fun way that for me, I think discussion wise makes it fit perfectly here on Blood Splatter Chatter.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if I mentioned, but we did have an A- from my boy Chill Out Man down there. Appreciate all you guys in the chat, brother Joe.
Chill, you whine like hell.
Bobby, Two Gun. Eric,
Chill gets it, Stu.
Oh,
Chill has read Crossed, or what is it?
Crossed.
Yeah, he's read that, okay?
Hold on, wait.
Good.
Chill had to see 28 Days Later before last week, so I'm just gonna leave that there.
Damn, Chill. He got you there. Chill.
Nick was in here. E was in here. I'm gonna have Nick and E join. I'm gonna have E on Blood Splatter Chatter coming up in a few weeks, man. I'm pretty stoked about that, or a couple weeks. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm super excited to actually meet you in person. Inja Benja up in here. Really appreciate you guys. M got one of the best names in the comic book community, Melanin and Manga. It's like so fucking dope. I love her and Sheena. You guys are awesome. So I appreciate all you guys. You guys watching on the rewind again, hit the like button, sub up. If you have not, come back next Thursday, 8 Central Standard Time. It's going to be a shit ton of fun. Oh, I'm about to fucking pull a Phable over here. Where's my brand?